Oh my gosh! Oh.
The 2026 Winter Olympics have arrived, and now all eyes are on Italy. Hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for this Journey to Milan-Cortina special. I'm Tram Mai. Today we'll transport you to Italy to see the incredible people who make the host country so beautiful. We'll also meet some of the athletes who will go for gold in Milan. But most of all, we're celebrating Arizona's Italian connections. And there are many more than you probably realize. In fact, this bridge on the Scottsdale waterfront has its own Italian roots. We'll get to that a little later. But first, did you know that Arizona is actually referred to as the Italy of America? 12 News journalist William Pitts shares with us that little-known nickname.
From Italy, we figure out about 1,000 to 1,500 family. Then, let's say, like me, came off the boat, you know.
And Dario Soldan with the Italian Association of Arizona has been here since the 90s. And in all that time, he's heard Arizona called a lot of things. Grand Canyon State, Valentine State, Copper State. But there's one he's never heard, the Italy of America.
I've been to Italy. You've been to Italy.
Right.
Is it Italy?
I don't know how these old governors saw the resemblance.
It did come from an old governor. In 1888, Territorial Governor Z. Meyer Zulick wrote that no better climate can be found and may be termed a veritable Italy of America. And it's true, Italy can be over 100 in the summer and in the 50s during the winter, same as Phoenix. It's worth noting we don't know if Governor Zulick ever actually went to Italy, but Dario has.
I actually been to Sicily for the first time last year, and I have to admit that I saw some resemblance in the northwestern part of Sicily around Trapani. The surrounding, the landscape is pretty similar, you know, cacti.
That can't be it, though. Just cactus?
The mountain, you know, if we go up to Flagstaff, you know, the San Francisco Peak.
Here's the thing. My dad has said for years that every part of Arizona can be a stand-in for another part of the world. The White Mountains does look an awful lot like Cortina's ski resorts, and maybe a much smaller version of the Dolomites. I mean, Italians made a whole movie genre out of making people think Italy looked like Arizona. Look, that could be Black Canyon City.
They call me Arizona.
The vineyards of the Verde Valley? Well, if you squint a little, it does look like some parts of southern Italy. Even Dario, who's standing next to some of the best wine on earth, has to give it credit.
I'm one of that used to be very skeptical, okay, I have to admit. But I have to admit, like I said, I'm becoming a believer every year, you know.
Okay, you probably need a lot more wine to become a believer that Arizona is the Italy of America, especially since that's a phrase that seemed to pop up in the 19th century about San Francisco, San Diego, even Alaska for some reason. Still, we have some of the best pizza around, some award-winning Italian restaurants, and about 200,000 Italian and Italian Americans who call Arizona home. In Arizona, the Italy of America? William Pitts, 12 News.
We've now made our way to Scottsdale Maserati, and did you know that Maserati is one of the official Olympic sponsors of the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics? In fact, this model, the Grecali model, is actually being used to shuttle around executives and dignitaries throughout the entire Winter Olympics. 12 News journalist Troy Lynch takes us for a spin.
Maybe it's the look. Maybe it's the looks you get while you're in it. Or maybe it's the feeling of,
Go like that. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I was not, oh my gosh!
if you blink, you might miss them on our valley roads. But if you look carefully, there are pieces of Italy all around Arizona.
It's emotion, it's fashion, it's performance.
It's Ferrari, it's Lamborghini, it's Maserati, and it's all here in North Scottsdale. Penske Automotive is the exclusive dealer of these luxury cars in the valley, but one is specifically important to this year's Olympics.
This year is really monumental because this is the 111th anniversary for Maserati, the 100th year anniversary of their Trident, and they just did the Olympic torch through the Maserati factory. And Maserati is the key automobile sponsor for the Olympics. They even did a special limited edition Grecali, which is their SUV, in a limited edition color so that they can transport media and executives in Maseratis throughout the Olympic time.
These cars are a rare breed. Every year, there are 14,000 Ferraris born in the world, 4,000 in the States.
And it's not for everyone, it's for someone who wants elegance, emotion. They want their heart pounding when they start that car.
Oh, we're kicking now. Oh my gosh.
And you hear the sound of a Ferrari engine or a Lamborghini engine or a Maserati engine for that matter. The Italians have the best sounding vehicles there are.
Oh, we're hitting the highway, good speed. How much are these cars kind of going for?
That's actually a good question because most people would think this is very, very expensive. Well, in relative speaking, the base price is $250,000. The supercars are in the 4s, the 5s, up to $1 million now. As a matter of fact, we just delivered a car last week. It was the most expensive car we've ever delivered. It was a Bugatti Mistral, and it came in at a little over $7 million.
$7 million?
Yeah. We'll spend hours, sometimes weeks, with a client to build that special car. But every customer gets to build their car the way they like it. If they have a lipstick from their wife that they want to match the paint, they can do that. You can do anything you want when you're in this limited capacity.
Now, if you want a Ferrari or a Lambo, you're gonna have to spend up to 2 years on a wait list. Maseratis, luckily, you can buy on site. But what's been stepping on the gas of popularity are the super SUVs.
Both husband and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend, or partners can both drive the car. Typically, when you had a supercar, it was designed maybe for one person.
Lots of these beauties are twin turbo. In other words, a hybrid of electric and gas. What kind of technology comes with these kind of cars?
Well, you have advanced braking system, which is all ceramic coating brakes. You have traction control systems. You have computer systems. You feel the car getting a little squirrely on you. The car, like you saw when I hit the gas, it brought it right back for me.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't me. That was the car.
Yeah, you're not a great driver.
No, I'm not. I'm terrible. And as soon as I get my license back, it'll be more fun.
And these Italian stallions aren't stepping on the brakes when it comes to the future.
Almost every brand has cars coming out that are just better than the years before. I mean, it's hard to imagine, but these cars, the advancement in technology has just been amazing.
So the next time you happen to see one driving on the Arizona streets, just know Italy is always here in AZ.
There's a heart in every Maserati or Ferrari or Lamborghini. The Italians are fashion. The Italians are aspirational luxury. So you're creating this feeling that you get in a vehicle that when you stop at a traffic light, there's not a car next to you that looks exactly like it.
In Scottsdale, Troy Lynch, 12 News.
There are so many stories that we'll be following closely throughout the Winter Games, but near the top of the list is the incredible story of Lindsey Vonn. At 41 years old, the greatest downhill skier ever is making a comeback, and she says she's ready to prove that age is just a number.
Being back on snow and skiing fast with the U.S. ski team is something Lindsey Vonn is pretty happy about.
I do think that just shows how excited I am.
Vonn's made a career of winning ski races. She has 82 World Cup wins, 43 in the downhill, more than any male or female ever. She also has 3 Olympic medals. Then in 2019, Vonn retired from racing after dozens of crashes and comebacks caught up with her.
I retired because my body couldn't take it anymore, not because I personally wanted to end my career.
And while she kept herself busy, Vonn missed the sport, especially the chance to race in Cortina at the 2026 Olympics.
You know, really hard to retire knowing that Cortina Olympics was coming and I wouldn't be competing. But even so, I don't know if I would ever have imagined myself at 41 racing in the Olympics.
So she underwent surgery to repair her broken knee, and for the first time in years was pain-free.
It changed my life forever, and no matter what happens, my life is forever different because I was in so much pain before and it really affected almost everything I did in my life. And now I can do whatever I set my mind to.
The spark was lit. Now at 41, Vonn is back, racing and enjoying more time with her younger teammates.
It's not always that you you mesh well with your teammates. And even though I'm twice as old as them, you know, we still get along great. I'm not doing as many TikTok videos as I think they would like.
But also offering her advice and expertise.
I feel like it's a privilege to be in this position. It's my responsibility to try to pass along as much knowledge as I can, because downhill is an accumulation of knowledge. You know, you learn so much by racing the same tracks over and over. So I know these hills.
And once again, doing what she loves. And Vonn says what her late mom would have loved to see her do.
I had the opportunity to fight back. You know, my mom had a stroke when she had me, and she wasn't able to physically come back from that. And I felt like it's my responsibility to try my best and to do what I love to do, because she couldn't. And I feel that even more now that she's gone. You know, she would be so happy that I'm here following my heart and my dreams.
In Cortina, Italy, fulfilling a dream on a track she's won a dozen World Cup races.
Well, I think my age gives me a big advantage, actually. I've definitely been on that track more than anyone else that's in the starting gate.
And says no matter what, is just happy to go fast on one more run.
I'm privileged and lucky to be able to have the opportunity to say goodbye on my own terms.
Coming up on this Journey to Milan-Cortina special, we're taking you inside an authentic Italian deli located right here in Phoenix and seeing what it takes to bring the flavors of Italy to Arizona. Plus, we're headed to Tuscany to meet the gelato king, and he shares what makes this dessert a fan favorite around the world. An Italian architect is responsible for building some iconic landmarks across Arizona, including 2 places admired for their breathtaking beauty. Stay right here. Our Journey to Milan-Cortina special returns after the break. There's a hidden gem off 35th Avenue and Dunlap that's been around for over 50 years. Everybody comes here for some of the best Italian food and deli. Welcome to Romanelli's.
This is the best deli in Arizona. Now I know this because I'm from New York. And so as soon as you see meat hanging from the walls, you know it's a good place.
It reminds me of back home, East Coast.
Yeah. What do you think of the food?
It's amazing.
We are #1 Italian deli in Arizona.
Take it from the big boss himself, Sam.
When customers walk through your doors, what do you want them to feel?
Well, the minute they walk in, really the truth. Oh, I'm dying for that smell. I'm hungry from that smell.
Because everything is homemade and fresh to order, from subs and sausages to the bakery and bread.
What's your favorite?
The ham and turkey.
Ham
with
and
everything.
turkey.
You can also shop for imported goods and groceries. There's even Italian swag like trinkets and novelties, giving you a taste of Italy right here in the Valley.
This is legit. It's authentic.
Built in 1975, Sam bought the business in 1982 after relocating from the Bronx.
What do you think is the lure of Romanelli's? 50 years now.
Landmark.
Yeah.
We've been here. Everybody knows Romanelli's.
Yeah.
I mean, from parents to their kids now coming in, high school kids who are now married, bringing their children in.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an honor.
Generations.
Generations and generations. Yeah,
Yes.
It's great. And having my kid here, work here, wife here, family business. I have employees for 20 years and 25 years.
Nowadays, Sam's son Robert runs the show, but one thing that hasn't changed, his dad's recipes.
We're gonna make some Italian subs.
Okay, let's do it. Got my apron on. I'm ready. Robert, let's go.
What are we making first?
Okay, let's do the Italian stallion.
Fresh baked bread. You good with knives?
Yeah.
Oil, vinegar.
This is a lot of meat.
Ham, cheese, salami, pepperoni, 4 meats, 1 cheese. Good provolone. Just found out where you're gonna be working next.
Okay, hire me. Fresh tomatoes.
Oh, you like onions?
I love onions.
Nice helping of lettuce. We're gonna get our nice juice again.
More juice?
Yeah, right on top. Sprinkle oregano. I'm an angle guy. I go boom, boom. And you guys can
Hold
be
on.
the judge.
Boom, boom.
Look at that beautiful thing.
Oh,
That's a sandwich.
so juicy, so good.
Cheers.
Cheers. Boom,
Ready?
boom. Robert, so good.
That is good.
Next up, customer favorite, a
Meatball
meatball
sub.
sandwich.
You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
this. Grab
Okay.
a bun.
We open it up.
Fresh everyday meatballs. We're gonna fill this baby up. 5, 6 meatballs. We gotta be generous.
More sauce.
The best Romano Parmesan mix.
The mousse.
There you go.
We're gonna go to the oven.
We're gonna put it in for 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at the bread. Look at the color.
Oh,
Look at that cheese.
Oh, that looks so good.
That is beautiful.
Wow.
Is that a beautiful thing? Look at that cheese.
Meatball sandwich. Classic.
Only at Romanelli's.
Cheers, Robert.
Salute.
Oh, that sauce. We're ready for some dessert?
What are we gonna make? Cannoli time.
Okay, do I have crumbs all over my mouth? Let me just check. All right, so how popular are your cannolis?
I have to say, best of Phoenix, #1 item that we sell at Romanelli's.
And you've got chocolate and plain. I want the chocolate.
You got it. This is made with regatta cheese.
Oh,
Cream.
and you shimmy it.
Shimmy it towards the end and you give it that nice swirl. Look at how beautiful that is.
Okay, I'm gonna shimmy.
Oh yeah.
Shimmy.
You're my new pastry chef.
Okay, all right, other side. Shimmy, 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 shimmy,
Beautiful.
shimmy, shimmy.
Boom, boom, boom.
Look at how
pretty. Cheers. You
Cheers
ready?
again. That is really good. All right, next up is a lobster tail. Robert, when I think of a lobster tail, I think seafood.
Everybody does. It's going to be one of the best desserts you ever had. So we're going to go cut right down the middle. Grab one of these bags.
Now, are we shimmying?
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. I love this
Then
custard.
we're going to take some custard, go all the way across.
Oh.
One cherry, perfect, right on top.
Yep, some
You can-
sugar snow.
You might want to hold this with 2 hands.
Maybe 3.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Is that good?
Wow! Wow!
Light, creamy.
Oh my God! Oh my God, that's like breakfast, lunch, and dessert. No matter what you get.
It is an amazing place. Great people, great food. I love it.
Yeah.
I tell everybody about it.
And the feeling when you walk in.
It is kind of like Cheers. I feel like Norm from Cheers when I walk in. Everybody says hi to me.
And that family feel is what keeps customers coming back.
You make everybody feel their best.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you
yes.
really do. I love that.
I do the best I can.
It's not just the savory foods that Italy does so well, it's also the sweets. One dessert that has really become a global phenomenon is gelato. Mark Curtis introduces us to a man who's from Tuscany, known as the Gelato King.
As dawn breaks over Tuscany, the countryside
Sunrise is always marvelous.
Slowly stirs to life. And an ancient town rises from the mist. Like a dream.
Every step you take, you step into history. Every stone, it's 1,000 years old, more or less.
Nicknamed Middle-Aged Manhattan.
Because when you see from outside, it looks like the skyliner, you know.
The towers of San Gimignano were built as symbols of power and noble status.
Yes, middle-aged Manhattan.
But a new kind of royalty holds court here now.
Oh, hi, and you come from?
No crown,
New York City.
no castle,
How you doing?
just a crowd
Gelato!
that follows flavor.
Okay, welcome in San Gimignano. My name is Sergio Dondoli. I am the Italian Gelato King. Italian Gelato King. Somebody tell me that. It's not for me.
For Italians, this is more than just a dessert.
Yes, gelato, so ice cream.
Do you like gelato? So much. Of course, I'm Italian.
It's tradition.
I love it. Maybe you can see it.
It's artistry.
This one has little pine nuts in it.
It's a moment of shared joy.
Oh my God, this is so good.
You come in American TV, come on.
And no one embodies that spirit more
Gelato.
than Sergio Dondoli.
What can I say? This is my life. My first memory was I was 7 years old and I heard first time the name gelato. And I tried. It was cold, but even sweet, so happiness. And then it was my job. Yes, where are you from?
Scotland.
Oh, Scotland.
Mr. Dondoli Ice Cream Shop.
California, Turkish, Belgium, Greece, gelato.
One of the most famous ice creamer in the world.
I talk many languages. Die kann ich vieles, klar, aber gerne. Wo denn genau her? When Chinese come, I will let you see I can talk Chinese too.
Mr. Dondoli is always creating new tasties.
We have to be very precise.
Using even local products like the saffron.
Yes, the most famous one.
Ones made with oyster.
Gorgonzola and chocolate.
Ones made with olives.
Espresso.
Pistachio.
Blueberry and ricotta.
Mango.
The Vernaccia wine as well.
Okay, I love everyone, come on. I cannot choose.
Fancy flavors aside,
all right.
Sergio will tell you.
Let me put in.
The real secret to success is simplicity. He uses only organic, local ingredients. The milk coming from a nearby farm. And yes, sometimes Sergio even milks the cow himself.
It's better I don't look inside.
Wander anywhere in Italy, and you'll see the signs.
Gelato.
But if you want the royal standard,
the best place for gelato in the world.
Travel to Tuscany. Listen for the laugh. And look for the line.
Many people, many kilometers just to come to try gelato. And then they see the tower too. Oh, wonderful place.
The Gelato King's Court is always open.
You don't look of the hour. Come on, how long I have been working? No. You want to have just happiness for all the day. And when you come back at home, wow, for you, you will be happy because you've done what you really love.
After the break, meet the man behind some of the most iconic landmarks in Arizona, each one made with ties to his Italian roots. We continue our countdown to the 2026 Winter Olympics with this Journey to Milan-Cortina special. Don't go away, more stories from Italy and beyond are next. Many people don't realize that Italian craftsmanship can be found all over Arizona, and that includes this very bridge that I'm standing on. Italian architect Paolo Soleri created this bridge along the Scottsdale waterfront in 2011. He wanted it to be more than just a walkway for visitors, so he designed the structure to tell time using the power of the sun. Two 64-foot pylons act as their own kind of sundial. On the summer solstice in June, when the sun is highest in the sky, the towering pylons won't cast a single shadow. But on the winter solstice, their shadow is the longest, actually touching the bridge structure. It's one of Soleri's many works across Arizona. He created two more places that turn heads decades later. Crystal Long takes us to Cosanti and Arcosanti.
Welcome to Earth House, where Cosanti first began in the 1950s right here in Paradise Valley, before it was even Paradise Valley. Now you can tour this and so much more on this 5-acre property. Come on, let's go check it out. Cosanti is the original home and studio of artist Paolo Soleri. Long before he ever dreamed of building in the desert, he was studying architecture in Italy, surrounded by centuries of craftsmanship. When Soleri came to Arizona, he brought that Italian mindset with him. Here he experimented with earth casting, building almost backwards from the roof down. He shaped concrete over dirt, then dug it out by hand, used sun to warm these spaces in winter and cool them in summer. He called this place Cosanti, an Italian name that roughly means against things, a philosophy built on living fully with less. Cosanti was never meant to be a tourist attraction, but decades later, people from all over come to watch artists handcraft Soleri's signature bronze bells.
We're pouring liquid metal into our forms. It's 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit as a reference point that is about as hot as lava. Each mold itself is a one-time shot, something uniquely not only handmade, but handmade in Arizona. We exist as kind of, a throwback to an early age of Arizona, and we have people from all over that come. They watch the pours. We get to do Q&A every day. We even have photos of the same equipment standing in the same place. This place is pretty much like a timestamp.
This is the bell tree, made up of 50 models of bells, each with a different design and sound. If Cosanti was Soleri's workshop, Art Cosanti was his big idea, a prototype for how cities could work. It's about an hour north of Phoenix. Soleri called it Arcology, architecture plus ecology, inspired by the compact walkable cities he grew up with in northern Italy. Less sprawl, more community.
So if you want to have a really close encounter with nature while also getting the experience of being in a sort of semi-urban environment where there's community happening around you, that's really what arcology is about.
Soleri believes cities should pull people together, not push them apart.
Art Cosanti has a way of drawing people in, and it's easy to arrive, it's harder to leave.
With the world watching Italy during the Milan Olympics, Soleri's legacy in Arizona shows that great design, like great sport, doesn't stop at borders. Crystal Long, 12 News.
Still ahead, we're taking a trip to Italy, where art can be found nearly everywhere you look. Meet the team working hard to maintain these historic works of art for generations to come. We've got another half hour of stories to get you ready for the 2026 Winter Olympics. Stay right here. Our Journey to Milan-Cortina special continues next. Welcome back. Let's take a trip across the Atlantic to the host country of Italy. And we begin in Florence, a city surrounded by art. Caribe Divine introduces us to the Friends of Florence, who help preserve and restore masterpieces.
To visit Florence is to wander a gallery without walls.
Every street you might walk down, every church you might enter, the museums, obviously.
The Renaissance was born here and never left.
Each artist was doing something new.
Breathtaking.
Absolute innovation.
Iconic.
Amazing works of art.
Sacred, but not eternal.
The works really are all very old. Many of them have not aged well.
Time really deteriorates works of art.
Fire, floods, and centuries have taken their toll. Even masterpieces can't last forever. Unless someone steps in to help.
Buongiorno. My name is Simonetta Brandolini Dadda. I'm president of Friends of Florence. We basically are here to conserve, protect, safeguard the art and culture, really, of Florence and Tuscany.
Discreetly tucked away in workshops across the city, artisans commissioned by Friends of Florence formed the front line of this battle to save history.
We have, luckily in Florence, some of the best restorers in the world.
Un desiderio capire profondamente l'anima dell'artista.
È un bronzo molto antico.
Their work is delicate and slow. A single piece can take years to restore. But donors think it's worth the wait and the cost. In 25 years, Friends of Florence has raised millions of dollars and funded over 450 projects.
They have intervened to make it possible for those of us who live here and who love this city to continue to present these masterpieces to visitors, to new friends, in their most beautiful form. They are the new patrons of the Renaissance.
A medieval village in the hills of central Italy is home to the world's most famous puppet. Troy Hayden shows us how Pinocchio became popular around the world.
Nestled in the rolling hills of Tuscany is a place of terracotta rooftops and terraced gardens. This town looks like it was pulled straight out of a fairy tale, and in many ways, it was.
So the first line of the story, chapter 1, once upon a time, there was a piece of wood.
Welcome to Collodi, Italy.
It tells the story of a wooden puppet that wants to become a real boy.
A wooden puppet given a name.
So this is our Pinocchio.
He's the most famous puppet in the world. And his story still lives in the village where it all started.
First publication of Pinocchio, July 7, 1881.
The author, Carlo Lorenzini, used the pen name Carlo Collodi to honor the town where he grew up. Today, Collodi celebrates its famous connection with pride.
So my name is Roberto Vezzani and I am the librarian at the National Carlo Collodi Foundation. Of course, the most important book of the library is Pinocchio.
Beyond the book, the puppet's presence here is huge.
It makes you feel very tiny.
Yes, the tallest Pinocchio in the world.
There's a Pinocchio theme park.
We'll go through all the adventures that he lived in the book. It makes you feel like you are part of the story as well.
A traditional puppet show entertains children. There's Pinocchio art. Pinocchio in a roundabout.
I'm Miss Pinocchio.
And plenty of Pinocchio souvenirs.
This one is for Greece.
A story
This comes from China.
that connected with millions.
An edition from France.
The Adventures of Pinocchio is the second most translated book in the world, behind only the Bible.
Almost 700 translations in almost 200 languages.
You've probably read Pinocchio hundreds of times, right?
I guess so. It's part of my work, so I do not complain about that.
So, while Collodi may just seem like another Tuscan village, it's actually the heart of a story that has touched the world. A place where imagination was born, and where even today, a little wooden boy reminds us all what it means to be real.
So that's the ending of the story.
We're here at Scottsdale Fashion Square in what they call the West Lux Wing, and there are plenty of luxury brands like Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, Gucci, and Versace. So many of these brands have Italian roots. Crystal Long takes a closer look at how Italian fashion is making its way to Arizona.
Italy doesn't just host the Olympics, it sets the gold standard in fashion trends. From Fendi to Gucci to Italian gold jewelry. We're learning about the history of Italian style right here in Arizona at the Phoenix Art Museum.
The fashion design collection is actually half of the museum's collection. We have over 9,000 objects, and we're celebrating our 60th anniversary this year.
How did all of this fashion end up right here in Arizona?
I know, this is such a treasure. So in 1966, the Arizona Costume Institute was founded, and it established this collection to really bring more conversations into the galleries about our experiences with art and how that intersects with our lifestyle styles and becomes part of our identities. We are walking artworks.
Italian fashion has been influencing styles around the world for centuries. What are some examples that you have here at the Phoenix Art Museum?
So we have this wonderful example from the 1920s from Spanish designer Mariano Fortuny, who was working in Italy for most of his career. And he was inspired by the beautiful statues of the height of the Greco-Roman period. But the statues we've always seen are white, and people have always assumed that during the period people wore white, but that's actually not true. It was a beautifully colorful, resplendent period, and the paint simply wore off all of the statuettes that have survived. So this look features micropleated silk, Murano glass beads, and this beautiful jacket that's been dyed up to 16 times. Another great example is from the 1960s, and it's Madame Gray. What the designer has done is created a bustier underneath, draped this silk jersey over top at a diagonal, and then she has painstakingly pinned all of these micropleats in place and then stitched it by hand. So it has almost this waterfall effect coming down the body. And so we see this influence over and over again. We call it romanticism, historicism, and it's lovely to see. We see it still today in designs. This look is also featuring a beautiful crown and cuff sets. Historically, Italian fashion has been as accessorized as we are today.
We know Milan Fashion Week is coming up, and we're going to be seeing all the latest styles. How quickly do fashion trends change now versus how they used to historically?
Well, now trends are changing seasonally. 4 and 5 if we're including resorts, 6 if you have holiday, and if we're looking at the height of the Roman period, we might have a trend staying around for 50 years, 100 years. And we're talking about major trends. You know, like the tunic, that's a basic style, that's very practical. But what we're seeing is individual small changes, how we're pinning things, how we're draping things. And also all of those drapes and all of those pins communicate a lot about the person, just like our accessories do today.
Starting April 15th, Tiny Wonders Hidden Treasures is taking over the fashion galleries here. You'll find a jewel box of historic fashion accessories, including some Italian designs such as Valentino and Dolce & Gabbana. At the Phoenix Art Museum, Crystal Long, 12 News.
When you think of fast Italian cars, you think of Ferrari, Maserati, and Lamborghini. It's all about speed. Same goes for sliding sports. There's bobsled, luge, and skeleton. Even though they're very similar, but still, there are some key differences you need to watch for in Milan.
Think of bobsled as a combination of Formula One and NASCAR racing on ice, where the torpedo-shaped sleds reach speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. An entire team is involved in the design, fabrication, and maintenance of a sled. Competitions for both women and men include sleds with 2 athletes. Men also compete in a 4-person sled, while women also race in a monobob, where 1 athlete does all the work. In skeleton, athletes compete head-first on a flat sled. Speeds typically range between 80 and 87 miles an hour. You will see both women's and men's individual, and for the first time ever, a mixed team competition. And in luge, both men and women slide down a track lying on their backs, relying on reflexes and body balance to steer the sled. Luge is the fastest sport in the Winter Games, with speeds reaching 90 miles an hour. The blades under the sled are also sharper than bobsled and skeleton and more difficult to control. Both men and women will compete in singles and doubles, along with a team relay.
Coming up, it's time to meet the athletes. We're going one-on-one with some of the biggest names from Team USA. Dozens of athletes are preparing to represent Team USA for the 2026 Winter Olympics. And one of those athletes is U.S. figure skater Alyssa Liu, who didn't take a traditional path to the Olympics.
Skating is a sport that demands a lot to reach an elite level.
Most of it was a blur, I will say, just because I was so young.
Taking up almost every minute of an athlete's day. And for U.S. figure skater Alyssa Liu, that was just too much.
I was traveling so much because of it, and I was starting to get sick of it.
At 16, at the top of her sport after winning gold at the 2022 Olympics in Beijing, Alyssa walked away from skating and retired.
I kind of just fell out of love with it, and I was like, after Olympics, I really want to quit, and that's exactly what I did.
All so she could spend more time with family and friends.
I was going to concerts, which I never could have done before.
Doing all the things a teenager usually does. Hanging out, getting her driver's license.
So I could drive myself around, drive my siblings, my friends around. I did a whole year at college and a little bit of the sophomore year as well.
Living a normal life. That included learning to ski.
I was skiing and I really enjoyed it, and I was like, I want to ski all the time.
But it was that time on the slopes, or at least heading to the slopes, that got Alyssa thinking about coming back to skating.
Skiing felt very similar to skating. You know, you're exhausted, your legs hurt, you're cold. That's like everything you feel when you're skating. And so I thought, well, if I enjoy skiing so much, there's no way I don't enjoy skating.
Because in her mind, why drive hours to be cold on the snow when you can find a rink and be cold skating a little closer to home?
It is so inconvenient to drive all the way to the mountains. When an ice rink, you could feel the exact same things that you feel when you're skiing on the rink. I would pick that.
So Alyssa put those skates back on and got back on the ice.
I love the arts, I love dancing, and I love music, and I love sports, and that's what figure skating is. So I kind of realized that.
Better now, she says, than ever.
I just felt stronger, you know, my balance is a lot better.
Now, at 20, she's once again the #1 ranked female figure skater competing at the 2026 Winter Olympics.
I am really excited for it because it's the biggest stage that you really get.
Where she could earn another gold, and after having some fun, show the world all the work she's been up to.
I put so much work into them, like costumes, choreography, and like just vibe of it. And I'm just really excited to display my art.
Now to a bobsled athlete who used to train right here in the Valley. After a nearly 20-year career, Alana Myers-Taylor has another Olympic run in sight. Cheryl Preheim has her story.
An explosive push of the sled, piling in, then speeds topping 80 miles an hour.
It feels like I'm flying. It feels like I'm just gliding and everything feels right.
For Alana Myers-Taylor, knowing each ride brings the final run closer changes things.
I can't put into words what my entire career has looked like.
Olympic competition has been part of her life for nearly 20 years.
It'll be interesting after these games to have that kind of reflection and to be able to look back and see what's really happened.
With 5 medals, she is the most decorated Black Winter Olympian in history.
That's a wild statistic, and one I never thought I'd even accomplish. Like when I started bobsledding, I thought, hey, I'd win an Olympic medal and then I'd be out and I'd be done. So to have this career now and to be up there with so many accomplished Olympians and to have this statistic behind it, it's incredible.
Milan-Cortina would be her 5th Winter Games in a sport where she's set the standard and shattered barriers as a woman, elite athlete, and mom.
Having 2 kids on the road in Europe for 6 months is pretty insane, but they're right there with me. They're my biggest motivators, to have them by my side and to see me day in and day out doing what I'm doing. It's just the coolest experience.
Both her sons are deaf. Her oldest, Nico, has Down syndrome.
I want them to see their mom and know that she continued to chase her dreams despite any obstacles we have.
Now, advocacy is a role just as important as Olympian.
Like, I've got this really strong passion for disability, so if I can combine my love of the Olympics and Paralympics with advocating for people with disabilities too, then that would be the dream.
Alana Myers-Taylor is also redefining longevity in elite competition.
Happy birthday to you.
She recently turned 41.
For so long it's thought, you know, women peak in their 20s, or maybe they peak in their 30s, or who knows, maybe it's 40. I'm hoping it's 41.
She sees her experience as an edge.
It gives me a lot of confidence going into these games in particular.
You could say Milan-Cortina is a bonus Olympics. Alana almost retired after Beijing, but felt the draw back to the track with big goals.
I think the only goal you could set is 2 gold medals. I'm going to do everything I can to make it possible.
Still ahead, we're visiting with one of the biggest names in Winter Olympics history. Kristi Yamaguchi dazzled audiences with her performance in 1992. Now she's reflecting on some of those big moments. Stay right here. Our Journey to Milan-Cortina special returns after the break. The Olympics can really turn unknown athletes into household names. In 1992, Kristi Yamaguchi became one of America's most celebrated Winter Olympians. Corey Miller sat down with the skating legend to reminisce.
When you say American figure skating, few names come to mind before Kristi Yamaguchi. In 1992, at just 20 years old, she became a sensation as the first Asian American to win a gold medal at an Olympic Winter Games.
It's pretty incredible when you have success there and then you come home and all of a sudden life is a lot different.
And she remembers that gold medal moment like it was yesterday.
It was the triple Lutz and I was skating into it and I was so scared. And as I was in the air, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fall. Like, I'm not landing this. And somehow I was on my feet at the end and it was, I'm telling you, it was pure training that kicked in at that point.
The United States has developed many notable skaters since 1992, but 2026 could be the most loaded team yet. And the Olympic legend can't wait to see the next generation in action, like the quad god, Ilya Malinin, who is redefining what's possible on the ice.
I don't think I've ever fathomed we would see a quad axel in our lifetime. And here is Ilya Malinin doing it almost with ease.
And the second act of Alyssa Liu, a fellow Northern California native who Yamaguchi has developed a connection with over the years.
You know, at 16 and retiring, there was just, oh, there's a little bit more left in you, Alyssa, come on. I was like so sad when she retired, and to see her come back, and the reason for it, you know, she said she found the joy again.
And if they show some highlights from '92 during competition this year from Milan, well, here's what Yamaguchi hopes fans remember about her golden winner in the spotlight.
When you're cheering for someone and they somehow pull through and it inspires them to go after their dreams as well. You know, hopefully they can pass it on to their kids and encourage them maybe to find someone that's current day that can inspire them.
Thanks for joining us for this Journey to Milan-Cortina special. Don't forget, you can watch the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics right here on 12 News. And you can find exclusive content leading up to and during the games, streaming exclusively on 12 Plus. Thanks so much for watching.